Hey, hey, how y'all doing today? Your host Brody here, November the 16th, 2022. Just getting the Brody Vision camera up and running. Hey, really sorry for you folks. The stream crashed due to high demand. I suppose that's how it goes. Uh, this morning, who we got joining us this morning for some morning MTG stocks? Little Brody Vision here. Michael Superbacker, Benson, and we had Gaming Bob in the other chat, but I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, Gaming Bob. If you make it over here, I gotta send him a message. I'm gonna text him right now because I had the chat up and it crashed. So I'm just gonna let him know. Stream stream crashed. Where are we at here? We are November 16th, 2022, Wednesday morning. Brody's coming in the house for you folks, and the juice is in the house, and the house is in the juice. Let's see what we got to work with this morning for you folks. Happy to be here, and thank you all for joining once again. Little magic trivia. Here's a question for everybody tuning in. Let's go back to the days of fork and time walk. So a trivia question, we'll answer it at the end of the stream. If you guys have an answer, here it is. Johan Matuzzi, morning trivia question before we start the MTG stocks. Back in the day, could you fork a time walk? That's the question. Think about it. Interested to see the comments and the questions in the comment section below. Just checking my volume, making sure everything's working good. Tom Mitchell, my man. Thanks for joining us this morning, Tom. Let's see what we got here today. Morning MTG stocks with Brody. Let's check it out. Article from yesterday. Movers and the shakers and the bakers. Let's bring this up here. Some folks get into the chat. Appreciate you guys for joining. Really do appreciate the looks, the chats, the comments, the shares, the likes, the notification bells, the wheres, the what's nots, the what have yous, the Michael Superbackers, Tom Mitchells, Johan Matuzzi's, MTG Gaming Bob, the Bensons, and everybody for tuning in. Let's spread a little bit of peace, love, happiness, good fortune, and news to the Magic the Gathering community. It's November 16th. I want to look at first thing we're going to do this morning. This is what's the price of Hasbro stock? Let's check it. Let's get it up there. $58.71. Hasbro stock, $58.71 this morning. It's up 2 points from yesterday. This stock's been trending down. Let's just have a look at it. It's been downgraded from a buy down to a sell, coming all the way down from $68 on October 18th. And in the year, it's down from 100. So this stock's been tumbling in price. We're going to talk about it. MTG stocks here this morning with Brody. What's that going to do to the price of the cards? Here we go. Long term, I think it's going to take a while. If you guys have played this game for a while, nothing ever happens. It really doesn't. The more things change, the more this stays the same. But that's my opinion. What does that matter? I want to hear from you. What do you folks think? Light it up in the comment section. I really like to hear a comment from everybody tuning in. Oh, wow. What a burn. Watch it burn. Okay. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't think I gave you a burn, buddy, but okay, watch it burn. Well, that's the thing. This is the thing. How do you pick up a falling knife, you know? Like a wise man once said, to pick up a falling knife, you step out of the way. You could stand under it and you could do one of these. Like you could try and catch that falling knife. You really could, but like that seems pretty risky. So wouldn't you be better off to just step back, watch it hit the floor, bang around, dangle around, wait till it's finished moving and everything, and just walk over and pick it up? So like I'm not convinced that the Hasbro stock is a buy yet, nor any of these cards on the movers and shakers list just yet. But give it time, give it a little bit of time. Top of the list this morning for November 16th. Let's have a little sip of coffee. A little sip of coffee. Let me check the comments. If you guys are joining me, if you're on your way to your workish place or you're going to drop somebody off at theirs, be safe out there. Watch out for each other and drive safe. It could be a little bit icy out. Wishing you many safe adventures. All right, what do we got up first here today? Diamond Valley. It's back on the movers and shakers list. It is. It is back. It's up 12%, up 99 bucks. It's on the reserve list and it's from the Arabian Nights block. I like this card. Brody plays it. It's $199. It's up there in price. Holy smokes. And why do we like this card? I want to see if anybody's building anything with it. What are they building? It's in Commander. We have lists in Commander, but I tell you, I play it in Legacy. It's more fun in Legacy. You can use it to sack your Merit Lage token. So if you play Dark Depths in Legacy, this is a card that was reprinted and made it getting it a lot easier. The Dark Depths is the one that it's a land that comes into play and it enters the battlefield with 10 ice flow counters on it. You can pay 3 to remove an ice flow counter from Dark Depths. When it has no ice counters on it, you sacrifice it and you create a 2020 Merit Lage avatar token with flying and indestructible. What? Holy smokes. 30 mana to get this thing activated, get all the counters off it. I think we could do better than that. That's why there's this card, Thespian Stage. And I'm kind of getting a little off topic, but for all of you legacy players out there or fans of Magic the Gathering who love the game as much as we do, the Thespian Stage is another land that comes down and it sits right next to your Dark Steps. What does it do? Well, this one taps for mana. It's a buck 80. It's cheap. It's played in Legacy, and it usually plays this Dark Depths Thespian Stage combo where you can pay 2, tap the Thespian Stage, copy target land, except it gains this ability. Well, that seems all right. It's going to target the Dark Depths, copy it, come into play, and it won't have any ice flow counters on it. Then you get the flying 2020. Okay, bear with me. Okay, Brody's taking the long way around on this one. You get the flying 2020. You swing at your opponent. But your opponent, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. He's got some shenanigans. He's got swords to plowshares. Maybe that doesn't work. But sword, yeah, I think it does. The point is that your opponent always has a way to remove this pesky 2020 Merit Lage token. So, if you're playing in like a True Name Nemesis deck where the opponent's going to try and smack you down with a creature and it's going to beat you up for several turns, the Diamond Valley's like a gain 20 on a stick, on a land. Hooray. Seems all right. So that's why it commands, for me, the value of the price of $899. I don't think that the stock price will change the game. Probably just the new releases that will change and print more or less often. Prices on printed cards, I think, will go up and the stock goes down more. Yeah, like 7 sets a year, that seems like a lot. I don't know. For a fellow who stepped away for the first time after Visions was released, got sick of paying 4 mana for a 2/2 with flanking with the downside. Look at some of the cards in the early game of Magic the Gathering. After Revise and Visions, the power creep downward was so crazy. Like it was like they were putting downsides on cards just because it was like every creature in the game was a dilemma. It's like which is the worst of the worst creatures? Like no, nothing was exceptionally good in my opinion. Benson, they need to tone down the monthly news sets. I was ping lad. I remember waiting what felt like 3 months between sets and blocks, invasions, plane shift, and apocalypse. Like, yeah, the buildup. You're like, ha 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 ha. And then Brody can get his allowance money together and put bottles together and get a couple of bucks, because the new set is coming out. Brody can't wash enough windows or mow enough lawns. 100% correct, Bob. Top of the morning, Bob. What did I miss from Bob? Love to see you here, Bob. Thanks so much for joining us. MTG Gaming Bob. Not too concerned. I don't understand all the vehement hate towards MTG in the community that supposedly loves it. We should all hope that it does. Well, if we want the game to survive long term. Holy smokes, yeah. Like, I mean, if you're not having fun with what you're doing, you're absolutely doing it wrong. That's Brody's opinion. Find a way to make it fun. If you're having fun at what you're doing, then you're probably doing something right. If so long as you're not having fun at somebody else's expense. Hey, let's check. Diamond Valley can go in my Ren and 6 deck, right? Diamond Valley, another amazing card. I love talking about these cards. I don't know why. I see them every morning. They get me excited. They make me feel excited. And then they make me feel interested in the game, a part of the game that doesn't change. It doesn't matter what new sets come out because a lot of these legacy and vintage, I love it when a new set comes out and a card makes it onto this list. Like Luris, that was fun for a hot minute. Good point, Gaming Bob. Appreciate the honest advice as always. King Solomon, 342 bucks for this Arabian Nights rare. I like this, and I really do. Why do we like it? Well, before we show you this card, let's take a look at another card. Solomon's Legacy. Now I have trouble spelling this one. Let's just look at Suleiman's Legacy for a second. It's an enchantment card, and it's $2.94. Okay, so it's like a Visions card. It's also on the reserve list, but like Suleiman's something or other. Suleiman's Slippers, Suleiman's Hourglass, Suleiman's Tesla. Whatever it is. Well, it's an enchantment for Oboro, so white and a red. It says when it enters the battlefield, destroy all Djinns and Ifrits. They can't be regenerated. Whenever a Djinn or Ifrit enters the battlefield, destroy it, and it can't be regenerated. Wow, this is some hate pieces for Ifrits and Djinns. And you know what? I'm gonna say it's been a long time since we've seen any really new Ifrits and Djinns. Spoiler alert, maybe that could be next. But let's look at the Suleiman's Legacy. So that come out in Visions. It's $2 or $3. If you got a problem with the Freaks and Djinns, you don't have to buy the Suleiman's Legacies. There is another way to deal with those boys. But if you want to spend the $342 for this reserve list rare, I like it. It's a human too. It's tribal. A 1/1 for white and 1. Tap, destroy an Ifrit or Djinn. We we made the impetuous winds. The devils. Oh, we made tempestuous winds obedient to Solomon, and many of the devils we also made obedient to him. The Quran. There's a verse from the Quran right on this card. Holy smokes! Did not realize that. This crazy art with Mark Poole's name on it. Like, look at that, eh? As a flavor text. Okay, that sparks a little more research to be done. So if you want to tap to destroy an Ifrit or Djinn, Suleiman's Legacy, he's your man. There's 7 copies available at the vendor shops for 242 bucks, so don't pay that much for it. That's got to be a minty, super minty, an $850 copy here on eBay. Like, some of the spread on these cards is absolutely incredible. Check the chat. Bob, on spot. Double Masters 2022. Yes, Bob. Michael Superbacker says, Double Masters 2022, when I was getting used to Dominaria United, then bam, Infinity came out, and now Brothers War. I like the unsets. I got a buddy who's big into them. He hangs on to a couple of boxes just for good measure. So you can like roll back in the day and do an unset draft. I do like that. I found that there wasn't enough jump start to go around when it was printed. That was really fun. Appreciate your feelings on that, Michael Superbacker. Like the unsets. Dominaria United, yeah, I underestimated Dominaria United and how great Teferi was. Opened a couple of them, said meh, whatevs, and yeah, then it just became a house in the format. And you know what happens? They just about banned him. Why isn't the legend? Why isn't he legendary? It's a named card, right? Yeah, I don't know. Let's like he's not legendary, really. The King Solomon. Let's just back up for a second. Errata? No. Human Noble. Yeah, like it could stand to be a legendary, right? Like, could you imagine? Like, yeah, I don't know how you'd squeeze it into an Efreet deck. I don't know if there's any white ones, any Dijins or Efreets, but he's pretty cool. He also kills changelings from Kaldheim if you want to get weird. I like it, right? What if you just made everything a changeling? Target creature becomes a creature of another type. Does that work? Can you turn something into a changeling and then it just is everything? Don't feel the pressure to have to buy everything once he prints. It is not required. No, and you know, like this could be like this is like a closed game with the cards that you got. I like these eternal formats. So like speaking prices on this card, right? The King Solomon. Let's just take a look at the movers and shakers here for you folks. Again, Sorceress Queen up there. Now, like, given that Paper Magic's making a bit of a comeback, we've got people super stoked to go to these events. They want to go to Eternal Weekend. They want to play Magic 30. They want to go to like Magic Con or whatever the other one is that's coming up soon in Salt Lake City. Should look that up for you folks too. And apparently that's going to have a lot of artists. Um, Over on the Vintage Magic channel, Daniel was talking about this like comparison. Really good video, mind you. So I would check that video out. There's another event coming up. It's Heavy Artists. It's like it's in the next month or so. I just don't remember the moniker. Either way, a lot of people are stoked to play Paper Magic with friends and they go to Eternal events, and that's why you sort of see movement in some of these cards. As an old school player like this card, this Sorceress Queen from Arabian Nights, like people like it. I mean, there's cheaper versions of the copy, but of this copy, but there's like there's only one black border version of this card, and it's coming in at $157. I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee. Just got into Magic this past year, so I was a little bit. So I was for a little while starting to cut back. It's tough. It really is. Like it really is. You got to be careful when it comes to overspending on Magic. It's really easy to do. It's a classic game, and like drafting is fun. I like drafting for like 15, 10 or 15 bucks, going to a F&M. That's probably like fun for bucks for fun. I think drafting is like totally so much fun for what you pay, and you get a chance to get some prizes. Look up Blades of Veil from Lauren and Morningtide Blog. Blades of Veil. Let's check it out. We got a special request for a price check from Benson. Well, before we do that, Blades of Veil. There's another card that so let's just run off this Sorceress Queen. We'll check that card for you this morning, Benson. $157 for the Sorceress Queen from Arabian Nights. Now this card, it saw a buyout just about a year and a half ago. It really did. It was sitting at about 20, 30 bucks, and you know what? Hate to say it, folks, Brody picked up a couple copies. And I don't know why, because I like this card and I'm a real big fan of Kaya Folio and Phil Folio and the Folio art family. Holy tamoles, Brody. Look at the little eyeballs in the background. It's sort of the same type of art that you would see on the Mishra's Workshop. So let's just have a little Little look at the art on there. Yeah, so you got these same little eyeball characters, uh, brought to us by Kaya Folio. First artist I ever met as a youngster, and she's like signed a card, a spirit link for me, and it was really great. It was amazing, amazing experience to meet magic artists. So this being the only black border version of the card, if you like it, if you like the, what it does, it taps to make any other creature, not herself, a 0/2 until end of turn. Yes, treat this exactly as the numbers in the lower right of target card were 0/2. I like how they had to like explain it right on the card. The card explains the card, Brody. All special characteristics and enchantments on the creature are unaffected. So it makes anything a 0/2. It was effective for shutting down any big attackers. It's just a really interesting card. If you combine this, now if you look back, maybe look back at some of the other bottom 10, but if you combine this with cards that switch uh, creature's power and toughness. Like there's a card in the game, and there's two of them. It's called a thaumaturgist. There's a dwarven thaumaturgist, and there's thaumaturgist. Yeah, I know. Say that 10 times fast on a Wednesday morning early. Thaumaturgist. Can anybody want to take a spelling? Anybody want to take a spelling test on this card? He's 3 mana. He's a 1/2. You tap him, switch power and toughness of target creature until end of turn. This card's on the reserve list. It's on the bottom 10. It's a $2.25 center. It's from Weatherlight blog. Okay, effects that alter that creature's power and toughness altered in instead, and vice versa. So, like in an arcade, I don't know why anyone's missing this tech, but anyway, you've been an arcade Sabbath build with walls or people or creatures that swing with their butts. The thaumaturgist turns that 0/2 into a 2/0, so your opponent has a 0/2 and then has a 2/0. Well, I guess it just died, didn't it? There's also a Merfolk Thaumaturgist. It's pretty great, and it works well with a Sorceress Queen. It's the only black version of the card. It's $157.50, and it's like third off the top of the movers and shakers list today, November 16th, here with Brody. Let's look up a card for my man Benson. Blades of Veils. Blades of Veils. From Lauren. Let's look at the foil, then we'll take a look at the non-foil. Changeling. Here we go. A red and one. $1.47 for this card. Lauren block. Nothing too difficult to get at your hands on this card. This card is every creature type. What? Up to 2 target creatures each get 2/0 and gain all creature types until end of turn. All right. Now you've done it. Brody's got to pour himself another coffee and look at this card. I got to read this again. This is an enchantment, so I got to read the card. Sometimes I read it depends where you want to read the cards. If you read them on the Gatherer, that's a good place to go. If you read them off like these websites, sometimes the cards got errata, but let's look at the card one more time. Tribal instant shapeshifter. Is it a creature though? I don't understand. It's a common, it's an instant shapeshifter. So it's a shape-shifting instant. Wow. Lauren. The changeling kind suffers as we do. We must join as one to quench our tyrants. All right, I gotta sit on this card. I'm gonna write it down with Blades of Veils. The Headless Horseman. This seems like fun card to play. And there's Blades of Velisvel. Okay, I can't even say it because I've never heard of it. Have you? Wow. Great, great. Thanks for bringing this card. Hit them with blades, turn their cards into a Dijin, use King Solomon to kill it. I like. All right. I like where you're going with this. Blades of Veils. Up to 2. I think it does more than 1. Does it do more than 1? Yeah. Michael Superbacker, preaching about MTG responsible spending all the time. It leads to a healthier habit and experience. No need to keep up with the Jones. Find your MTG happy. Yeah, find it happy. You know what I like, and this is part of the reason I like looking at these lists. I'm not saying here, I'm not sitting here saying you need to buy all these cards or any of these cards because there's like other cards. Sometimes there's better cards. Sometimes there's cheaper versions and better options. And like sometimes you get lucky and like you look at a card like Blades of Veils or maybe that's some Thaumaturgist because it's on the reserve list or is any of these other cards and you know you just like the card, you take interest in it. It's something that's not out of your price range. It, you know, even a set. Well, this one's $17. Here's a $17 card from Arabian Nights. Like this is totally a card. I would buy this card. Oh, three. Oh, that's got to be a mistake. Okay, it's yeah. There we go. It's up $17. Let's Northern Paladin. Oh, that's such a cool card too. But we can't get to it until we look at this card. Elephant Graveyard. Another Arabian Nights land. This one I like it. It taps for mana. Try another sip of coffee here. 321 bucks. Okay, so this is like a cheaper Arabian Nights land. When I say that, right? Considering Mountain is like a couple $100. Sort of the type of card you want to keep your eye out for at a flea market because this one's worth like 321 bucks. It taps for colorless and you can tap it to regenerate target elephant. It says on the card or mammoth. I think maybe that all of those Tuscan folk have been errated to be elephants. Oh, there was a war mammoth in the set, right? There is a war mammoth. What's a war mammoth? What did they print war mammoth at? Selman mammoth, but it's been changed to elephant. So then all the mammoths have been elephantized. This one's elephant tribal, I guess. If you're ever gonna build it, this is the land you want. Kind of an odd card. This card won't move too fast, I don't think, but because there's not a lot of people that the collectors will be buying this card, I tell you that much. They'll be holding on to as many copies as they can. For someone who wants to play Elephant Tribal, this is a really cool card. Morophon the Boundless. That's where we see it played in Commander. Morophon and Karn the Silver Golem decks using it. So they have a couple of decks using it. Morophon, that multicolor commander, he's really cool. He's a shapeshifter. So there are Blades of Vela, Blades of Velis Veil. Maybe that goes in this deck with Morophon. I don't know. Could be fun. Shapeshifters, Eldrazi's, Didgeridoos, stuff like that, maybe. Master of Ethereum and a couple other things. Pretty cool card, the Elephant Graveyard. Guess they're playing it in there because it regenerates. Yeah, I guess shapeshifters are mammoths and elephants. Okay, this this episode of MTG Stocks has shapeshifted into some amazing tech video here this morning. Combos with Goat Napper too. Let's hit that card up and we'll get down the list. Sorry, Brody was referring to the pace of MTG releases. It is okay to skip some. Oh yeah, you know you almost have to. So like, let's consider who you gotta be to buy like, be the hot dog vendor and make me one with everything. Give me one of every box or that comes out. That's a lot of dough. Dual brains in the house. Say what up? Dual brain. Hey. Doing a little more back in a bit. Yeah, just hit us up with a couple of chats, buddy. Just glad you're here. Appreciate you tuning in, and everybody checking out the channel for Wednesday. All six of you, the amazing fans of Magic, who want to check the price of MTG stocks. We were looking at Hasbro stock, $58.71. Looking at the movers and shakers list in the legacy side, and like here's another card, the Northern Paladin. Like this card was like playable when revised come out. Oh my gosh. If you had this and you had the Slate of Mind, I think that's the card. Yeah, Slate of Mind, the one that changes the wording on any card by altering the color in the text box. Yeah. We'll look it up here in a second. But the Northern Paladin, he was the white counterpart, arguably way more expensive, to the Royal Assassin. You got to pay two and tap him, destroy target black permanent. He said a rare by Douglas Schuler. Well, there are arguably a lot other lot of other cards that you could have got in the rare slot if you were opening any packs. And the Northern Paladin is he's just not what you want to see in your rare slot. Look to the north. There you will find aid and comfort. The Book of Tao. The lore on this card is fun. The only way to play it, unless you're running I guess, coming up against like a mono black deck, is running it with Slate of Mind. Dual Brain. Here, so let's put up Slate of Mind for you folks. Welcome Ed, the Dual Brain, to the channel. So we actually used to play this card with Sleight of Mind. Change the text of target spell or permanent by replacing all instances of one color word with another. For example, you may change target black spell to target blue spell. This effect lasts indefinitely. So this was the card that, you could combo out with Northern Paladin. And then later on, we had Magical Hack, which did the land type. And that was all fun as well. One blue. Early Northern Paladin. This one from Unlimited. So if you want to play it, I don't know. I guess you could play sort of like a color hoser deck, like where you alter the hoser type, or you play like all the hoser cards in it, and you hope to change the color type on the spot to suit. The Northern Paladin is an unlimited card. Is there any decks using it? What do we got here? A commander deck. Dromar, the Banisher. So what's Dromar? All right, there's one commander deck running it. I wonder what. Let's see. You remember the deck names from yesterday? Oh my gosh, some of these. So Dromar colors matter. Dromar is the 6/6 dragon legend. Ooh. Esper? Flying, whenever Dromar the Banisher deals combat damage to a player, you may pay blue and 2. If you do, choose a color. Return all creatures of that color to their owner's hand. Wow. So that's like name a color deck. Pretty interesting. So Northern Paladin has a home in this deck. Maybe if somebody wants a premium unlimited copy, they paid $54 for it. You can get it for cheaper at the vendors, all the way down to 17. A lot of these cards, like, you're gonna see them listed on eBay. So like, look at this number and then look what it's selling for and how many are available. Quite often it's quite a lot less. So there's not a lot of pressure to buy anything right now. Hit that like. Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks, Brain. Appreciate that. If you're on your way to work this morning, checking out trivia question. Back in the day, can you fork a time walk? I asked the question yesterday. I forgot to re-ask it at the end of the stream, but I'm just wondering. And I'm interesting to see the answers. Nicol Bolas. Oh, Nicol Bolas. He was on the movers and shakers list yesterday. He might have been on the downside. See, he's one of the original Elder Dragon legends. 2, 4, 6, 8 mana. Yeah, that's a lot of mana. The thing about this card, why it didn't see a lot of good price action years ago, was hard to cast. The double pips, right? Double black, double blue, double red, and 2. There's only so much mana fixing. Dual lands were kind of either the original ones, which are always been a little bit expensive, or some of the bad dual lands, like the Velt, the depletion counter lands, and the pain lands, and that. So casting this card's been historically difficult. With Commander being so popular and so much color fixing being printed, there's like 20, 30 decks using this card. Nicol Bolas the Ravager being one of them in Commander, a great card. The Dragon, a lot of Dragon Commander builds, and again, Morophon the Boundless. The OG printing of Nicol Bolas. I wonder if there's a new art on it. I think there really is. Oh yes, they did reprint this one with this other art. Oh, that's a different card. Oh yeah, no, it's the same card. Which art do you like? Do you folks like this version of Nicol Bolas where you kind of see the whole thing? Or do you like this version, the cartoony version by Edward Beard Jr.? Like,
Here was a question that I wish I could have, speaking to anybody who was at Magic 30. Okay, so a question that I really wanted to line up for and ask the artist panel at the Magic 30 was this one. Because they had a couple artists up there and they were asking a few questions. Was how do how do artists who do real to life art look like realistic mesh with artists that do sort of cartoony or mythic sort of impressionistic art types? How do they meld together when developing a new set, from an artist perspective? That was sort of what is the oracle text on time walk? Let's take a look. Oracle text here is okay. We're talking pre-oracle text, Tom. So let's see here. Okay, it just says take an extra turn after this one. Take an extra turn after this one. That's I guess I could head on over to the gatherer, check the actual tags, check the actual text box, the gatherer for the time walk. Oh, the site is down. Look at this due to routine maintenance. Look at this. This looks like, is this Wizards employees scattered all over? No, can't be. All right, let's see here. The gatherer. Well, I suppose the site is down. Do 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 do. No, it's got to be page not found. All right, let's try again. Brothers War. Here we go. Or we can look it up. Usually this is pretty right as far as like Oracle texts and rulings go. I can look it up. Fun fact about Bolus, he was printed in as a promo in a game that is not MTG. What? I would collect that. Tell me where. I'd love to see it. Can't help but recommend to you folks to pick up a copy of Dream Halls while the price is down. Great old school reserve list tech. Okay, so like Bob, here's the thing. Price and value are different, right? So I did a video a while back, and this is why I wanted to do the morning stocks with Brody. We're talking about the prices of Magic cards, right? So when I don't use those terms interchangeably, and if I do use them, I mean them in a specific way, right? So, like, I think, like, if anybody else kind of gets what I'm saying, like, this card could be like a pickup, right? Reserve list, this is a crazy card. Dream Halls. So this card was played in an older deck, a Turbo Sphere deck back in the day, and all this, oh, this is exciting card. Dream Halls card, Turbo Svi. Okay, so there was a fog deck, and it was okay. So here's the deck. Uh, this isn't the article that I'm looking for, but there's a really good article on this, and if I can find it, I'll put it up for you because it involves this Dream Halls card. This card has a lot of play value to it, and the price is lower than what it's listed at. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Prices of Magic cards are what they are. If you see a card that you think, hey, like that price looks low for what it does, the value of the card is like the text on the card and what it does for you. And that only changes when something in the game changes. So, like another card being printed that makes it better or makes it worse, that's when the value of a card changes. And that usually affects the price. So the price on this card is a great card. This is a good pickup, and it's got a deck, a namesake deck, actually older than most people would know. But I remember this deck because it's such a cool deck. Tapped out. Where are we here? Let's just look at it. So this I'll look at this list, but I'll try and find the other article. But again, this deck used the Dream Halls card that Bob's talking about. So instead of paying the casting cost for a spell, this enchantment, it's 2 blue and 3. It says any caster may discard a card that shares at least one color with that spell. If the spell has X in its casting cost, X is 0. Within, without. All right, so this card here, amazing card. It makes every card in your hand a force of will and your opponent's hand. So that means if you have counterspell, any blue card, you pitch it and that pays the cost. What? This is insane. So there's another card called Lobotomy. So Gaia's Blessing is in the deck, and that used to be used to loop this over and over again. So the Turbo Svi deck was a deck that broke the format. It did. It really did back in the day. I gotta look up the date on it, and I'll bring that article up to you folks because it's super interesting. But Svi Moshulitz is the fella who designed this deck. It broke the game of Magic. It used the Dream Halls card to cast a copy of Lobotomy, which says. So now this is you got the Dream Halls in play, and you just pitch a blue card or black card, and you can cast this card. Look at target player's hand and choose a card other than a basic land card. Search that library's graveyard, hand, and library for all cards with the same name as that chosen card and remove it from the game. Then that player shuffles his or her library. So you play the Dream Halls, you pitch a card, you lobotomize your opponent, you take something out of his hand that seems really good, then you go through his deck and you take that over, then you loop that and you play a copy of Gaia's Blessing. And because this is essentially a blue card, right? There's a way it makes it blue. Target player shuffles up to 3 cards in target player's graveyard into their library, draw a card. So you target yourself, you shuffle your lobotomy back in, you draw a card. When it's put into your graveyard from anywhere, you shuffle your graveyard into your library, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you lobotomize your opponent out of the game. So this card, Dream Halls, a rare card from Stronghold. A really cool card. Thanks for bringing this one up. I love hearing the chatter. This is probably something you've had your eye on, right? Like when that card gets down below a certain point, I'm picking it up, right? So that's why I like reading and watching the MTG stocks, so you guys can see and recommend cards. And I'm not saying buy them all, but I'm saying look for value on the card by reading the card and check within yourself to see if the price matches it. And if you see a divergence there where you're going to get a really awesome card for a good price, maybe that's an indication. DJ, don't spend money. Trade in stuff or store credit and buy with that. Basically recycle your collection. That's a skill, buddy Benson. That's a really, really good skill. And I appreciate you for recommending that. I do have a buy listing with Brody video back a while ago where I haven't done a lot of buy. I think I did my first buy list actually doing that. I was like, I guess I'm gonna do a live stream and buy list. Never did it before. It's easier than you think if you spend a little time to do it, but it takes a little bit of time. If you like sorting cardboard, it's not too bad. Let's see, here we got Brody, DJ Longhair. I like the art and styles. I'm behind in the chat. Hey Tom, hey Bob, hey Benson, hey Dougal, hey DJ Smash the Like. How's it going? Anyone got a spare lotus petal? I'm hanging there tonight. DJ needs a lotus petal. Hit him up, boys. You guys know the title of my video, Boycott Hasbro, was a parabolic clickbaity thing. The real message, don't feel a need to buy everything. Support the bottom up. The little guys and the out of print stuff. You know, that's why I like the dual brain. And if the Macho Bro was here, I think he'd probably do a dual brain promo. But the thinkingest man in the game, like the herd mentality, I can't stress it enough. Having another perspective or a thought-provoking perspective is exciting. It's exciting and it's a good discussion. Speaking with your wallet, how about this one, folks? Vote with your dollars, right? You're voting with your money. You really are. Everywhere you shop. If you don't like what you're getting from the world, maybe look to see like what companies you're supporting and like if, they make you happy, if they're like the company for you, or are you just like, paying somebody to hit yourself. Yeah, vote. That's called voting with your dollars. Voting with your wallet or speaking with your wallet. Exactly. Vote with your money. So, like, I mean, right now, like, there's a lot of stuff on sale, and we're gonna just sit back, find a comfortable place to watch it. And if you don't have time to check these lists, like, there's a lot of cards on these lists. I check them every day. Let me do that for you. You can always jump in here, and we'll keep you up to date. It's weird. YouTube is all weird on my live stream. I said I have 757 views. That's a lot of views. Yeah, man, people are mad. It's time to push change, right? I like that video. Do something. I don't know if it'll do something, but it's time to try. Try and stay positive, right? On the stream, it says 88 in the studio on the vid 124. It's being weird on you, hey, DJ? Try a new game. I had my stream crash this morning. For those of you who jumped from that one over to this one, I really appreciate you guys for checking out the stream this morning. I wish I had a better job. Near Mint Lake of the Dead. Under 100. Cream of the crop, Brody. Cream of the crop. Always to the top. I don't know how many times I watched that video. There's another guy out there who does some wrestling videos, and it's like stunned by wrestling. Those are some pretty crazy videos and some backstage takes on stuff I never even knew happened. If you're a wrestling fan, oh, something for all the wrestling fans out there. Like I did get from the swap meet. uh, me some original WWE postcards, for $3. Pretty cool. Graded. Johan has a graded Lake of the Dead in near mint for sale. Wow. Huh. LGS owner is talking about closing shop. It's so sad. Buy listing is always a good option, right? Like I look at it like it's hard though. It's like sorting laundry. It really is. Oh, really, Tom? Your LGS owner is talking about closing his shop. It's so sad. Oh, dude, I feel you, brother. Like we lost ours 2 times. Yeah, and like people have been talking about opening another one. So it'd be nice to do something, right? It's like save your LGS, right? Now's the time, boys. Now's the time. Save your LGS. I was better off. I might snag it. These last 2 years have been tough, right? Feel like I'm working twice as hard for the same amount of money. That's Brody. Box will take like 50% of the market value, exclusive as fudge kit. Brody, you must journey south of the wall and come to Philly. I would love to. I would love to. Let's see what the future holds. Journey, I know, right? Can I make it over the wall, right? Okay, so the question in so the question yesterday morning, and Tom asked, What's the what's the Oracle text on time walk? Take an extra turn after this one. So back in the day, there was like an argument about forking a time walk and if you could do it. Copy target instance or sorcery spell, except the copy is read, you may choose new targets for the copy. So if those of you who I just, I heard this from like a really old school Magic the Gathering player. This says take an extra turn after this one, and when you fork the time walk, you get 2 of this spell. So when you go to your next turn, that's when you take your extra turn. So like it doesn't say take an extra turn. It says after this one. So because you can't take 2 turns after that one turn, you can't fork the time walk. It doesn't work. You get a copy of a spell that you're going to take a turn during the next turn. Yeah, I guess that's how it goes. So who knew? That's how it worked. Old school players, rules level enforcement. It's interesting to see if anyone ever heard of that, or am I crazy? Old school Magic tech. Love to go to Philly just to get a proper Philly. Oh, I would love to get a Phillies cheesesteak. I love to go to Philly Stadium. Need a sugar mama. Yeah, buddy. 3 days, 3 spots, hit the like power bar. I beat to Philly in 2 minutes. DJ bought uh Brody's buying that Powerball, I'll tell you that much. Um Morning Magic Stocks, the Rough keeps popping up on the list. And like, why does Brody like the bottom 10? Brody hopes. This is crazy. This is why Brody's crazy. Why Brody buys cards off the bottom of the reserve list, because like, well, most of these cards were a dollar or two at one time, right? So like Brody's super long on a lot of these cards. He really is super long, like Mr. DJ Longhair. We are long on some of these cards that cost a dollar or two that are sitting at the bottom end. But here's a card that's not a dollar. This one's 155. It's Arabian Nights rare. 5 for the Rough. This is like the original Consult the Sideboard card. I don't know where people are playing it. I never tend to check. It's got no decks found, and nobody seems to know what builds it goes in. But 5 for the Rough, and you pay 5 and sack it, exile it. Next time you would draw a card, you get to choose a card from outside the game and put it into your hand. So like Karn the Silver Golem, or Karn the Karn, let's consult the sideboard Karn. He's probably wearing like this ring. I think the art on it is really cool. It's Dan Fraser art. It's got like a Nomi thing that, with a mouth on it. It's really cool. I like the card. If you can see it up on your screen, this card's $1.55. I don't know where it's played. It's collectible AF, and there's no stock on it. Light played on eBay for up to $500, 100 and change from the vendor shops. I think Dual Brain had it right when he was at the event. Go there with something in mind, and like if they're giving you store credit and decent store credit, straight up, like, come there prepared. Go there on a mission to like get something like the drop of honey, and or have like your buy list sort of in mind. And that's why buy listing ahead of time is a good idea, so that you actually know like how much your stuff is worth. It's if you're going to trade it in, you should know that before you show up to an F&M and be like, "Oh, these are my trade binders." So like buy listing it, putting it in a box and being like, okay, I know what the buy list is. Like it's $300 for the whole box. Or like if you got couple cards that you want, we can look them up. This is what's going on here. Please be advised that we're temporarily pausing our cash buy order system. Customers are still able to submit buy orders for store credit. This is like one of the bigger ones in Canada. I think they're still offering maple syrup and hockey pucks in trade for Magic Card, but no cash. Buy orders are already submitted and approved through the cash buy order system will maintain their chosen payout method. Their changes apply to both the online submission process and in-store transactions. So this is like half-arsedly closing the buy list, or at least like cutting the buy list in half. If you can't get cash, what's the point, right? The last time stores closed, and maybe we'll see that. I don't know. It could be a signal, but it was October 8th that they stopped offering cash and giving you 30% on top for your store credit. So that's like a thing. If you guys like are looking for store credit, the last time stores closed the buy list, I think it cost them a lot because a lot of people cleaned them out. The prices went down and people snagged up a lot of. This is like a thing that happened, right? Close the buy list, the prices go down, stores are struggling to make it. They start selling off high-end cards. People buy the high-end cards out from under them because they have to liquidate them to pay their rent. And then all of a sudden the store is stuck with no inventory. Things open up again, things get smoothed out. They start buying again, but the price go up. Oh, the Rough. Nice one. Oh, quad plus plus long ago. Oh, Love and Metalworker. What's he doing these days? Let me hit that up. I'm gonna check the Metalworker. Prize fundraiser streams. You'll have a responsibility to film there after that. DJ, so prize fundraiser. Oh, sweet. Okay, let's check out Metalworker for my man Benson this morning. Give me a shot glass when you got. Missed out on MTG 30. Oh man, like that's the thing. You know, if you had a good time, like there's only so many hours in the day. So if you like maximize your fun level while you were there, then like you're doing it pretty right. Check out Nemesis Game in Northern NJ. I know the owner. He knew. Oh, Nemesis Games in New Jersey, Northern New Jersey. I know the owner. He's still buying. Interesting. Okay, so there's a place that's still buying, right? But up here, yeah, the shipping it just kills you. So it's like I would rather trade in person. Like I'll buy lists, make a thing, go to an event if I can, and try and catch a vendor or somebody there. I'll always hit up a trader. I'll hit somebody up with traders first, and then I'll take it to the buy list. Would have gone gangbusters on those pins. I love the pins. That's the stuff I'm gonna buy lists for. Is weird stuff. What are you buy listing for? I love the Tempest Flow wrap I got. Oh, yeah, that's pretty friggin' cool, man. Those are like, that's like an unheard item, right? Like these strange magic items. Like, it's like these one of a kind things. There's a lot, and something that I didn't even realize there was like old shirts from old pro tours and stuff you could have got. Like, I mean, there's so many things we could have done, but there's so many things we did do. Ring 'em are rough. Seventh off the top, and the Mishra's Factory eighth behind it. This looks like summer version. Spring is the thing for 69.49. The Mishra's Factory, and I like this. I think like with what's the other one, the new one, the makes assembly workers, Mishra's Foundry, right? So now is a factory deck a thing? Is a foundry deck a thing? Is anybody making a factory deck? Is anyone making a foundry deck? I don't know. It could be a thing, an assembly worker deck. Their artifacts, your tutus. Are these going to move? Is that like, is there more value here than there was before that card was printed? Like, is this card better than it was before Mishra's Foundry was Mishra's Foundry? Okay, tell me now in the comment section below. I really think it is. I think the Mishra's Factory is a card that gets better with the printing of Mishra's Foundry from the Brothers' War. Mishra's Foundry is a land, just like Mishra's Factory. It's 99 cents. It taps for a colorless. You can pay 2 to make the Foundry an assembly worker. Until end of turn, that's still a land. You can pay 1, tap it. Target assembly worker gets +2/+2 until end of turn. All right. So assembly worker, this costs 2. Now the Mishra's Factory is 1. So it's like better. But now there's more copies of it. You can play 8-fac. Did I just say it? 8-fac. Yes. You can play 8-fac in the format. You can play a factory deck using 4 of each. I think it changes the value of this card. Commander, Baba Lysaga, Night Witch. I gotta check a card for Benson here. What do we got here? Benson. Need a sugar. Metal worker. Let's check it. Let's check the metal worker. Let's do that real quick. You want the foil? Metalwork Colossus. Metal Worker. Shout out to Alpha Hoarder. If you guys watch the Alpha Hoarder channel, throw me a like in the comment section below. I really like that channel. Mike, the Alpha Hoarder. Pretty sweet videos happening over there. $1.40 for the Metal Worker, right? A card that seems to get bought out again and again, you know. People learn from behaviors. They say buying this card, buy the metal worker, buy it out, buy the metal worker. A lot of people buy this card. It's amazing. It's a 3-mana construct. It's a 1/2, low power toughness though, but it's like workshop metal worker go, I guess. Like it's pretty darn good. Tap, reveal any number of your artifacts in your hand and add 2 colorless for each revealed this way. So workshop this, pass the turn, don't play your mocks in. Start your turn, tap it, show your hand, artifacts, make mana, play your artifacts with that mana, possibly a key or manifold key, untap the metal worker, do it again, cast big stuff and things. Cards trending down a little bit. Commander all over the place. $100 all the way up to 125. Some depth on this card. You can find it. It's on eBay. The graded copy is going to be insanely priced, and the foil version. Let's do it. Let's look at the foil version of Metal Worker. Because a card from the Urza's block on the reserve list at $879. That's a lot of bread. Holy smokes. You know, Dual Brain, if you go to Philly, I may want you to pick up a case of those random MTG pins, right? Those pins were so awesome. Like, I picked up a few pins for some friends and the free Trions. We're gonna give them a few pins away. And like all-star merch. Those are really cool. I like the trade-in value that comes with the pins. You buy the pin, you can trade it in at the vendor shop. I do a buy bottom card. I do I do to buy bottom cards from the reserve list and then send them for grading. Interesting. Clever. What do you do, right? I love my blue waffle. My blue waffle? The best thing about buy list is trading like a 50-cent common for awesome stuff, right? Yes, Assembly Worko Tribal, right, DJ? That's like, let's see it. I want to see it. I want to play it. That is something I'd be excited about. Super cool. Never seen a Tempest Flow Wrap like that in the world. I'm all about that. Sold a chunk of basic lands to Card Kingdom for a while back. I was shocked at how much money value for the zombie army tokens are from war. Really? Yeah, every once in a while you get some weird hit that people are like, that's worth a few bucks, right? It's unreal. Non-foil tokens. A ton. Driving to Philly can bring tons of stuff. Unreal. Unreal. Walking Ballista. Oh, there we go. That's where you want to put the mana. Millions of mana every turn. Walking Ballista, boom. Yes. I was pumping like 17 mana into with Grim Monolith and like the Ballista and this metal worker. Yeah, it's really good. You pump so much mana into it. Oh, integrated foil metalworkers available. I don't know. Let's look. Anyone have a link to the reserve list, not the one from Watsy's site? Yeah, you bet. Here, I'll get it. I'll put it in the chat here. Cards. You want to find the whole reserve list? Yeah, we can show it to you. Prices. You go here. Legacy and vintage sets. Reserve list. Hit this one. You want paper? Yeah, you do. You want paper. They have the mid-go list, but let's put it in the chat for you there. Anybody want the list? We put it right there. Boom. Sign into chat. Well, we signed into chat. I should be signed into chat. Alfonso, sign into the chat. Open. Let's put the reserve list on there. There you go. There's a goldfish list. If you ever want to look at it for yourself, that's got every card in it. And just so I'm doing a video about this, and I did tell a couple of people there. It'll show you there's 567 cards on the list. Brody needs like a 600 count binder because I'm putting together a binder. It's got to have one of every one of it. I might have to proxy a few things, but that would be pretty cool. There's a whole list. Pretty cool. Not at +2/+2, but grants a counter. Let's go. Um, Missing the expensive metalworker in that Mistress Factory. Yeah. Let's see. Foil graded metal. Are there any foil metalworkers available? Let's see. Let's go to the foil version. 878. Yeah, there's four from the vendors. 1,039 for the X. The thing is though, like here's the thing. Like anybody watching, like this is a tough card to buy. It really is. Like this card is a hard card to buy, and I'll explain to you why. The fact it's a foil and it's from Urza's means like this card is so difficult to buy and assess it because you have to see the card in person to get an idea of what it looks like. And that's the only way best way I can explain it. Buying this card online is not a good idea if you can't actually see the card or you don't know the source or if it's not like a slab copy where you know what you're getting. Very hard to buy this card. Super difficult. Not only is the price high, it's hard to assess these foils. It really is. Might have to borrow one of your crappy metalworkers, Brody, to get the deck done. I got one metalworker. I got one. I got one metalworker. I do. Man, can I get a full set of Urza foils for 6K? Mostly of not all near. Man, I can trade for it. I think I'm going to. Full set of foils. You know, for a gift, the worst metal worker. The only one I have is like in mint condition. That's crazy. I don't have a foil metal worker now. Wish I did. But see, Commander. Commander staple. Holy smokes. Let's go let's go back to the movers and the shakers. We got a couple more to go. So we like the factory, we do. Give it +1. Yeah, so this one gets +1/+1 until end of turn. The other one's like attacking worker, right? You really need to see these old foils in hand to assess the quality. Yeah, right? So the Mishra's Factory Spring Edition, there's different versions of this, right? Like if you're new to Magic, if you're tuning in, worth mentioning there's like a fall, a spring, a winter, and a summer version. And I don't know why if it's rarity, but this winter one, maybe it's just the coolest art, has got the snow on it. And it's Phil Folio, right? The folio artists, right? These folks. So this one's like the expensive one. Always is for some reason, and I don't know why. It's just sort of the way it is. The spring one, 69 bucks, so that's sort of the cheapest one. And then there's like two other ones in between, a fall and a summer. They're all kind of nice. I do like them. There's reprints of it. Oh, look at this Judge foil. There's all kinds of them. Man, there's some sick versions of this card. Look at this one. Another online versions have incredible art that we don't get in paper. Don't you love it when they do that? Here's the Modern Horizons version. Yeah, like I think I have this one. I do. Full card. I think it gets a whole lot better with the printing and Mishra's Foundry. We'll see. And if there's any follow-ups in any future sets. But if you think that's a card that could be good, the Mistress Factory, I think it actually I think there's something there. I do. Counterspell from Unlimited. Why is that on the Shakers list? No idea. Because you want an old school version of it? It's really amazing. Like if you wonder why these older cards are moving, I can't see why people wouldn't play them if they had, well, it's maybe someone's buying it if they had it for old school. You can play any version of. That's the interesting thing about old school. Like certain versions of old school, you can play any version that has the original art on it. So you don't necessarily need the $94 counterspell. You can get the revised copy for $1, or if they have the same art, you're good. It's an interesting format that way. If you have the old art and it's a reprint, it's good to go. No, right? Grants a counter. Really need to see the old foils, I think, but it gets a counter. Yeah, so better in the long run or pump itself up. Cheaper than crawling barons. Need a manland for commander. Go manland tribal. Yeah, right? Manland tribe. Yeah. All right. So the counter spell modern, yeah, I mean it's in Murktide region. Counterspell, why not? An old staple card. I mean, people are always going to want to upgrade to an older version. Zur the Enchanter, all the counterspell decks. Eternal, yeah, like Eternal Weekend coming up, and this card's selling out. Counterspell, right? Who knew? Living Plane. Here's a neat card from Legends. on the reserve list, a World Enchantment. $389 for this. It was on the list last week, I think it was. This card turns all lands in play into 1/1s that are still lands. You can kill them, you can enchant them, you can do all kinds of stuff to them. You can play Pestilence and wipe the board. I think that was like the go-to game mechanic when this baby was printed. I don't know. Set collectors, where's it played? Kamal, Heart of Krosa, and Togo, Goblin Weaponsmith, Eudora, Grave Gardener, and Sithis, Harvest Hand. Well, let's look at Kamal, see what she does, and how this lands card would be good. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample. Okay, living lands goes with this card. 1 and a green. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. It's still a land, and it's got partner. It gets even better. What? Togo. Okay, partner with Togo. Whenever a land enters, you get a rock. Creature has 1 tap, sack a rock, deal 2 to any target, and equip 1. So your rocks and lands deck. Artifacts and lands unite. I don't know. I think it'd be stone throwing lands. Or pit. It's quite the flavor. So that's where Living Plane goes. It seems like a pretty good card. There's some value there. It's one of the few cards that does it. Turns all lands into 1/1 creatures. Then you can use the Togo and your Kamal. Togo gives you a bunch of rocks. This guy gives them all +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. And if that's not enough, give it some vigilance and haste for 1 and a green. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. On the downside, Mishra's Workshop is sliding. I mean, I think generally, I don't know how, unless there's some buyouts, I don't know how all this can keep trending up. Want to lose friends at the table? Make a Mana Barbs Pestilence deck. Totally. Yeah. There are some decks that just okay, how about this one? Knowledge Vault. Here's a you want to lose friends at a table or make a game go long. I mean, if you want a game to just knowledge pool, how about this card? You want games to go crazy? For 55 cents, check this out. 6 mana, artifact knowledge pool. Well, I don't want to say lose friends, but this makes the game just completely go in a completely different direction. Imprint. When knowledge pool enters the battlefield, each player exiles the top 3 cards of their library. So we all flip over the top 3, goes in the middle. Face up. Whenever a player casts a spell from their hand, that player exiles it. If they do, they may cast a spell from among other cards exiled with knowledge pool without paying its mana cost. So a card that works kind of like the Dream Halls, except now we're all going to whenever a player casts a spell, exile. Yeah, so each player flips over the top 3, they all go in front of you. When you go to cast a spell from your hand, it goes into the pool. And you pick a card out of the pool. Oh no, yeah, and you cast it without paying its mana cost. That is it just like if you thought the game was going in a certain direction, this card changes all that. Tundra dual land up on the list again this morning. Thanks for joining me up until the well past the hour. This is Morning Magic Stocks with Brody. Speaking of magic stocks and speaking of magic socks, why do farmers carry an extra pair of socks with them when they go golfing? Question for you folks before we take off for the day. I hope you enjoy your day in case they get a hole in one, right? How's that for you? I really appreciate you guys spending a little time with me in the morning, checking out the chat. Light it up. What's that rare from Ikoria that cast spells outside your hand? Degenerate. It's degenerate. Knowledge pool with Taveri's puzzle box. And there's some excitement. I love the fact that of the possibility of infinite possibilities. And that is another card like Possibility Storm. The Possibility Storm, that is you, the fans of Magic the Gathering. Thanks so much for sharing life with me and hanging out on the channel. I really, really appreciate you guys showing a little support. Checking out MTG Stocks, comments and questions, a little bit of trivia, and a couple of jokes lighten up the mood in the morning. Have a great day, guys. Once again, this is your host, Brody, Michael Superbacker, Prime 406. You made it in. We're just heading out for the day. Why do farmers always bring an extra pair of socks? In case when they go golfing, in case they get a hole in one. So, thanks for sharing the stream with me, folks. I really appreciate you guys. Enjoy your day. Thanks for the great chat, great discussion. Get out there and spread a little peace, love, and happiness to everyone in your Magic the Gathering community. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Morning Magic Stocks.